Good afternoon. This is All India Radio. I am Gaurang Dhawanlal and with me is Subha Kaul with the Midday News. The headlines. Both houses of Parliament witness adjournments as opposition creates ruckus on various issues, including Pegasus snooping. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken holds talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in New Delhi to also call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh participates in Shanghai Cooperation Organization's Defence Ministers Meet in Tajikistan. Basavaraj Bommai takes oath as new Chief Minister of Karnataka. More than 44 crore 61 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate improved to 97.39%. 18 people killed in a road accident in Barabanki district of Uttar Pradesh. Legendary badminton player Nandu Natikar passes away. President, Vice President and Prime Minister express grief. In Tokyo Olympics, shuttler PV Sindhu enters pre-quarterfinals of women's singles. Archer Deepika Kumari to begin her individual campaign today. Pugilist Pooja Rani to enter the ring in the round of 16 of women's middleweight category. And in cricket, the second T20 between India and Sri Lanka to be played in Colombo this evening. As the nationwide free COVID-19 vaccination campaign at government facilities for those above 18 years is going on, we advise our young listeners to get vaccinated and also to help others get vaccinated. We also advise our listeners not to lower their guard as COVID-19 remains a threat to our health. Please stay at home unless it is essential to go out and continue to follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact the national helpline numbers 011 239 78046 and 1075. And now, the news. Both houses of Parliament adjourned till 2 p.m. following continuous protests by opposition parties over the Pegasus snooping and other issues. When the Lok Sabha met after the first adjournment at 12:30 p.m., members from the Congress, DMK, TMC and other opposition parties again trooped into the well, raising slogans over the issues. This forced the presiding officer to adjourn the House till 2 p.m. Earlier, amid the din, the Lok Sabha took up question hour. The presiding officer repeatedly urged protesting members to return to their seats. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi expressed his displeasure over the unruly behavior of protesting members. As the noisy scene continued, the House was adjourned till 12:30 p.m. In the Rajya Sabha, when the House met after the first adjournment at 12 noon, the scene was no different. Opposition parties, including the Congress, DMK, TMC, AAP and the SP, continued their protest against the Pegasus snooping and other issues. Amidst the noisy scenes, Deputy Chairman Harivansh took up question hour. Mr. Harivansh urged the protesting members to return to their seats. As the protest continued, he adjourned the House till 2 p.m. Earlier, opposition members continued to stall the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha over the Pegasus snooping and other issues. The House had been adjourned till 12 noon, following the uproar by the Congress, TMC, DMK and others. When the House met for the day, the opposition members tried to raise the issues, citing their adjournment motions, and trooped into the well. Chairman M. Venkaiah Naidu then adjourned the House till 12 noon.
Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur today criticised Congress and Trinamool Congress for continuous disruption in Parliament. Talking to reporters outside Parliament, Mr. Thakur questioned the opposition parties for an unruly scene in the Lok Sabha, saying the protesting MPs' behaviour was against the decorum of the House.
कांग्रेस और तृणमूल कांग्रेस के सांसदों ने जिस तरह से सदन ना चलने के लिए हर संभव प्रयास किया, वो विरोध कर सकते हैं, लेकिन उसकी भी एक मर्यादा है. मर्यादाओं को तोड़ने का काम आज जो कांग्रेस और तृणमूल कांग्रेस के सांसदों ने किया है, उसकी जितनी निंदा की जाए उतनी कम है. आखिरकार विपक्ष चर्चा से क्यों भाग रहा है?
The minister said the government is ready for the discussion, but opposition parties are escaping from the discussion. He said Parliament must be used to raise the issues of public interest. Opposition leaders today held a meeting in the Parliament House to discuss their future course of action on the Pegasus snooping issue. The meeting was attended by Congress leaders Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge, DMK leader T.R. Balu, NCP leader Praful Patel, Shiv Sena MP Sanjay Raut, CPM leader Elamaram Karim and others. The meeting between External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and visiting US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is underway in New Delhi. In his opening remarks, Dr. Jaishankar highlighted that India-US cooperation covers virtually all domains of contemporary relevance. He also spoke about the shared interests, similar concerns and strong convergences. Cooperation against the COVID pandemic was also highlighted by the External Affairs Minister. He also spoke on striving for peace and prosperity in Indo-Pacific, working for democratic stability in Afghanistan, deepening the Quadrilateral Security Dialogue Quad, and working even closer on contemporary challenges and conversations on global issues based on real exchanges of national experiences and historical perspectives. The U.S. Secretary of State said President Biden's determination is to continue to grow stronger the relationship between India and the U.S. He deeply appreciated the work that both countries have been able to do together and the work that both are going to do together in coming months. Mr. Blinken said there is not a challenge that does not have impact on lives of our citizens, whether it's COVID, disruptive impact of emerging technologies that can be addressed by any one of us acting alone. He said there is a greater imperative on cooperation among countries than ever before. Mr. Blinken also met National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. He will call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi today evening.
The Shanghai Cooperation Organization SCO Defense Ministers meeting is underway in Dushanbe, Tajikistan. Defense Minister Rajnath Singh along with defense ministers of member countries are participating in the meeting. In the annual meeting, defense cooperation issues among SCO member states are discussed and a communique is expected to be issued after deliberations. On the sidelines of the meeting today, Mr. Singh met Russian Defense Minister General Sergei Shoigu. Both ministers reaffirmed that the defense partnership between the two countries remains strong and enduring. He also met Defense Minister of Belarus, Lieutenant General Viktor Kerenin. Today morning, the Defense Minister laid a wreath at the Sumoni Memorial in Dushanbe. During his 3-day visit to Dushanbe, Mr. Singh is expected to meet his Tajik counterpart, Colonel General Sherali Mirzo, to discuss bilateral issues and other issues of mutual interest. Tajikistan is chairing the SCO meeting this year and hosting a series of ministerial and official level meetings.
Karnataka's new Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai has been sworn in this morning. Governor Thavara Chand Gehlot administered him the oath of office and secrecy at Raj Bhavan. Mr. Bommai succeeds BJP leader B.S. Yediyurappa, who resigned on July 26 after tenure of 2 years. Mr. Bommai was chosen the BJP Legislative Party leader yesterday in the presence of Central Party observers and Union Ministers Dharmendra Pradhan and G. Kishan Reddy. Basavaraj Bommai is 3-time MLA from Shigong in Haveri district in Karnataka and was the Home Minister and Parliamentary Affairs Minister in the Yediyurappa cabinet. Considered a close confidant of Yediyurappa, Bommai joined BJP in 2008 and served as Water Resources Minister between 2008 and 2013. A mechanical engineer, Bommai is son of former Chief Minister S.R. Bommai, who was in office between 1988 and 1989. More from our correspondent.
After assuming charge, the new Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai spoke to media persons about his future goals. He said there are several social and economical challenges to be addressed by him. He also spoke about COVID and flood situation in the state. He also has the challenge to form the cabinet, which he said will be formed in a couple of days. He has said that he will work taking everyone in the party along and focus on poverty alleviation and social justice. During the swearing-in ceremony today in Raj Bhavan, Union Minister Dharmendra Pradhan, BJP Karnataka in charge Arun Singh, former Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa, National General Secretary of the party C.T. Ravi, and BJP legislators and leaders were present. Sudhindra, AIR News, Bengaluru.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Basavaraj Bommai. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said, Mr. Bommai brings with him rich legislative and administrative experience. The Prime Minister expressed confidence that he will build on the exceptional work done by the BJP government in the state. Mr. Modi conveyed his best wishes to Mr. Bommai for a fruitful tenure. Prime Minister has also praised the outgoing Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa. He said that no words will ever do justice to the monumental contribution of B.S. Yediyurappa towards BJP and for Karnataka's growth. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said for decades he toiled hard, travelled across all parts of Karnataka and struck a chord with people. The Prime Minister said B.S. Yediyurappa is admired for his commitment to social welfare.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address virtually tomorrow policymakers in the domain of education and skill development, students and teachers across the country to mark the completion of 1 year of reforms under the National Education Policy 2020. He will launch multiple initiatives in the education sector. The Prime Minister will also launch the Academic Bank of Credit, providing multiple entry and exit options for students in higher education, first-year engineering programs in regional languages and guidelines for internationalization of higher education. The event will witness the launch of the National Digital Education Architecture (NDIA) and National Education Technology Forum (NETF). The initiatives to be launched also include Vidya Pravesh, a 3-month play-based school preparation module for Grade 1 students, Indian Sign Language as a subject at the secondary level, Nishtha 2.0, an integrated program of teacher training designed by NCERT, structured assessment for analyzing learning levels, SAFL, a competency-based assessment framework for grades 3, 5 and 8 in CBSE schools, and a website dedicated to artificial intelligence. These initiatives will mark a significant step towards the realization of the goals of the NEP 2020 and will make the education sector more vibrant and accessible. The NEP 2020 is the first education policy of the 21st century and replaces the 34-year-old National Policy on Education NPE 1986.
You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Both the Houses of Parliament witness adjournments as opposition creates ruckus on various issues including Pegasus snooping. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken holds talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in New Delhi to also call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh participates in Shanghai Cooperation Organization's Defence Ministers Meet in Tajikistan. Basavaraj Bommai takes oath as new Chief Minister of Karnataka. More than 44 crore 61 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.39%. 18 people killed in a road accident in Barabanki district of Uttar Pradesh. Legendary badminton player Nandu Natekar passes away. President, Vice President and Prime Minister express grief. In Tokyo Olympics, shuttler PV Sindhu enters pre-quarterfinals of the women's singles. Archer Deepika Kumari to begin her individual campaign today. Pugilist Pooja Rani to enter the ring in the round of 16 of women's middleweight category. And in cricket, the second T20 between India and Sri Lanka to be played in Colombo this evening. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
More than 44 crore 61 lakh COVID vaccine doses have been administered in the country so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said the recovery rate has reached 97.39%. More than 41,000 patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. India reported more than 43,000 new cases in the last 24 hours. During the same period, 640 deaths were reported. In Madhya Pradesh, Amarkantak town of district Anupur has achieved the 100% vaccination target. The people of Amarkantak have set an example for others also. A report.
District Administration Anuppur conducted the campaign to clear the misconceptions prevailing among the people and motivated them to get the corona vaccine. As a result, the target of 100% vaccination has been achieved in Amarkantak. District Collector Sonia Meena informed that in the Amarkantak Nagar Panchayat, there are 15 wards and as per the electoral rolls, it has a total of 5,055 voters. Out of them, 4,732 have received the first dose of vaccine. Among the other people, 47 were suffering from various diseases and 245 were out of town and the remaining had died. Pooja P. Vardhani, IR News, Bhopal.
The recovery rate of COVID-19 in Rajasthan has increased to 99.03%. More than 9,44,000 people have been recovered from infection so far. At the same time, the number of active cases in the state has come down to 278.
11 districts of the state have become COVID-free. There is no active case in Bundi, Dausa, Dholpur, Jalore, Jhalawar, Jhunjhunu, Karauli, Kota, Pratapgarh, Savai Madhopur and Sirohi districts. Now there is only a single active case in 6th district. Yesterday, 15 new cases of infection were reported in 7 districts of the state. At the same time, no new case of infection was reported in remaining 26 districts. Meanwhile, more than 3 crore 9 lakh people have been vaccinated so far. 2,687 vaccination sessions are being held today for vaccination. Jitendra Dwivedi, AIR News, Jaipur.
COVID situation in Maharashtra is rapidly improving, with the state yesterday registering more than double number of discharge of patients compared to new cases registered in a day. The state registered 6,258 new cases, while 12,645 people were discharged after recovery. With 5 people succumbing to the infection, Mumbai also witnessed lowest death in a day yesterday since March 16. More from our correspondent.
Maharashtra can heave a sigh of relief with COVID-19 situation improving in the state. At least 16 districts and 8 municipal corporations reported less than 10 cases yesterday, out of which 12 districts and 6 municipal corporations reported less than 5 cases. Hingoli district and Parbhani municipal corporation reported 0 case. Besides, 13 districts and 14 municipal corporations reported 0 deaths on the same day. Devopriyo Bhattacharya, AIR News, Mumbai.
In Uttar Pradesh, 18 people have died and over a dozen injured in a road accident in Barabanki district in the wee hours today. The accident took place on the Lucknow-Ayodhya highway in the Ram Sanehi Ghat area when a speeding truck hit a passenger bus carrying mostly labourers. The deceased were mostly from Bihar, who were returning from Haryana. Senior police and administrative officials have reached the spot and started the rescue operation. Many of the injured have been admitted in different hospitals of Lucknow. President Ramnath Kovind has said he is pained by the death of the people in the accident. He expressed condolences to the bereaved families and wished for the speedy recovery of the injured. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also expressed condolences to the bereaved families. He said he spoke to the Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister and arrangements are being made for proper treatment of the injured. The Prime Minister announced an ex gratia of 2 lakh rupees each from the PM Relief Fund for next of kin of those who died. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has also expressed grief over the accident and asked officials to provide every possible help to the injured.
In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, at least 4 persons were killed and dozens are believed to be missing after a cloudburst triggered flash floods in Kishtwar district this morning. AIR Jammu correspondent reports that the flash floods hit residential area of Honzar locality in Dachin area of the district. The bodies of 4 people have been recovered even as heavy rains have been hindering search operation to trace out missing people. District Magistrate Kishtwar Ashok Kumar said 4 bodies have been recovered from the debris and 8 to 9 houses have been damaged following cloudburst. SSP Kishtwar Shafaqat Hussain said 30 to 40 people are believed to be missing after the cloudburst triggered flash floods in the area. However, the exact number of missing people is not known as the situation is very grim in the area. The teams of police, army and SDRF have reached the area and rescue operation was going on. Union Home Minister Amit Shah spoke to Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha and DG Police Dilbagh Singh regarding the cloudburst. Mr. Shah said that the priority at this time is to save as many lives as possible. He said NDRF team is also reaching the spot to assist in rescue operations. Union Minister of State, Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, said that he spoke to DM Kishtwar Ashok Sharma and assured that Air Force authorities have been contacted for lifting the injured as and when required. He said that the rescue operations are going on with the help of SDRF and the Army. The Meteorological Department has forecast heavy rain during upcoming days and water level in the rivers and nalas is expected to rise. Further details are awaited. Our correspondent reports that most parts of Jammu region have been receiving heavy rain for the past few days.
Himachal Pradesh has been experiencing heavy rain in many parts of the state since last night. Our correspondent reports that landslides and flash floods caused by heavy rain blocked several link roads of the state, including a few national and state highways. In Lahaul Spiti district, the Manali-Leh and Kaza to Grampu National Highway has been blocked partially due to landslides triggered by flash floods. In Lahaul Valley, the flash flood at Tozong Nala of Lahaul subdivision claimed 7 lives, while 2 people have been rescued. According to the State Disaster Management, 3 people are still missing in this incident. Rescue work is being carried out by police and ITBP teams. District Administration Lahaul Spiti has also requisitioned NDRF teams to carry out relief and rescue operations. In view of the rising water level in the Bhaga River, the Lahaul Spiti District Administration has shifted people living in low-lying areas to safer places. On the other hand, in Kullu District, 4 people were swept away at Brahmanala of Manikaran due to heavy rain. Meanwhile, most of the major rivers of the state are in spate. In view of the warning of heavy rains for the next 2 days, all the district administrations have urged tourists and locals to maintain distance from rivers and landslide-prone areas. In news just in, the Lok Sabha has been adjourned till 2:30 p.m. and the Rajya Sabha has been adjourned till 2:45 p.m.
Legendary badminton player Nand Kumar Mahadev Natekar, popularly known as Nandu Natekar, passed away early morning today in Pune. In a career spanning 15 years, Natekar won over 100 national and international titles, including 6 times national singles title. Natekar was the first Indian badminton player to win an international title in 1956. He was also the first Indian sportsman to receive the Arjuna Award. President Ramnath Kovind, Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have expressed grief on the demise of legendary badminton player. The President said in a tweet, India has lost one of its sporting pioneers. Expressing condolences to his family and admirers, the President said Nandu Natekar mentored and inspired generations of sportspersons. Expressing heartfelt condolences to the bereaved family members, the Vice President said Natekar made an invaluable contribution to Indian badminton and won over 100 national and international titles. The Prime Minister said that Nandu Natekar has a special place in India's sporting history. Mr. Modi said that his success continues to motivate budding athletes. Sports Minister Anurag Thakur has also expressed grief on the demise of legendary badminton player.
This is All India Radio giving you the news. In the Tokyo Olympic Games on the 6th day today, the Indian campaign began with star shuttler PV Sindhu winning a match to enter in the round 16 of the women's singles category. India's medal hopeful and Rio silver medalist PV Sindhu defeated Hong Kong's Hyunyan Yi 21-9, 21-16 in the final Group J match this morning. World number 7 Sindhu will meet Denmark's world number 12 Mia Blichfeldt next, who topped Group 1. Indian players will be seen in action today in the field of archery, badminton and boxing. In the men's singles, B. Sai Praneeth will clash with Mark Kaljou of Netherlands in Group T match in the afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Indian archer Praveen Jadhav defeated Kalsan Bazarzapov of the Russian Olympic Committee in an elimination round by 6-0. Later, he lost to Ellison Brady of the United States in the next elimination round by 6-0. In other competitions of archery, Tarundeep Rai lost to Ite Shani of Israel 5-6 in the closely fought pre-quarterfinal match of the men's individual event. Earlier, Tarundeep had defeated Ukraine's Oleksiy Hunbin 6-4 in the round of 32. In the women's section, world number 1 archer Deepika Kumari will begin her individual campaign against Bhutan's Karma. In women's hockey, India lost to defending champions Great Britain 1-4 in their third Pool A clash. Sharmila Devi scored the lone goal for India. This was India's second straight loss in Pool A, following a 5-1 defeat by Netherlands. The loss leaves India at the bottom of Pool A. The Indian team will next take on Ireland on Friday. In boxing, Pooja Rani will play against Ichrak Sheb in round of 16 of the women's middleweight at 2:33 p.m. In rowing, the duo of Arjun Lal Jat and Arvind Singh failed to qualify for the men's lightweight double sculls final after finishing sixth and last in the second semi-final.
In Colombo, the second T20 international between India and Sri Lanka will be played in Colombo this evening. The match was scheduled to be played last but was postponed for today after India all-rounder Krunal Pandya tested positive for COVID-19. The match will start at 8 p.m. The third and final encounter will take place tomorrow. The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program Corona Jagrukta series, tonight will bring you a special discussion on COVID-19. Dr. Anupam Prakash of Lady Hardinge Medical College will participate in the live discussion. This can be heard on FM Gold channel and additional frequencies from 9:30 p.m. Listeners can ask the expert questions on toll-free number 1800-115767 and on telephone number 011-2331-4444. You can also post your queries on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR. This program will also be available on our website newsonair.gov.in and on our YouTube channel News on AIR Official. You can also follow us on the News on AIR app for updates. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla has said that awareness is the only solution in the war against hepatitis. Addressing World Hepatitis Day 2021 program in Parliament House today, Mr. Birla said hepatitis is a silent killer and it is too late by the time a person realizes that he is suffering from the infectious disease. He said India accounts for 11% of the total hepatitis patients in the world and all the democratic institutions from Panchayat to Parliament should start a nationwide awareness program together.
And now let's take a look at the weather today. The national capital Delhi will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The temperature will hover between 25 and 30 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was 26 degrees Celsius, while the maximum is expected to be around 32 degrees. Chennai is expected to have a partly cloudy sky. The temperature varies between 27 and 36 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have a generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. The city had a minimum temperature of 26 degrees Celsius and a maximum will be around 31 degrees. Srinagar will experience thunderstorm with rain. Temperature moves between 21 and 28 degrees Celsius. Jammu will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Leh is expected to have a generally cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The minimum and maximum temperatures will move between 14 and 30 degrees Celsius. Gilgit will have a generally cloudy sky with the possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. The temperature is hovering between 20 and 37 degrees Celsius. Muzaffarabad will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was 25 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 30 degrees. Imphal had a minimum temperature of 22 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 29 degrees. In Shillong, the temperature moves between 19 and 27 degrees Celsius. The sky will be generally cloudy with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. In Itanagar, the temperature hovers between 23 and 33 degrees Celsius and in Gangtok, it moves between 18 and 22 degrees Celsius. And now, before we close, the headlines once again. Both houses of Parliament witness adjournments as opposition creates ruckus on various issues, including Pegasus snooping. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken holds talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in New Delhi to also call on Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh participates in Shanghai Cooperation Organization's defence ministers meet in Tajikistan. Basavaraj Bommai takes oath as new Chief Minister of Karnataka. More than 44 crore 61 lakh COVID vaccine doses administered in the country so far. Recovery rate improves to 97.39%. 18 people killed in a road accident in Barabanki district of Uttar Pradesh. Legendary badminton player Nandu Natikar passes away. President, Vice President, Prime Minister express grief. In Tokyo Olympics, shuttler PV Sindhu enters pre-quarterfinals of the women's singles. Archer Deepika Kumari to begin her individual campaign today. Feudalist Pooja Rani to enter the ring in the round 16 of the women's middleweight category. And with that, we end the midday news.